Come on, Kirsten. It's just for the weekend, please. My younger sister Brooke's voice came through the phone with that familiar, wheedling tone she'd perfected over 27 years. I was standing in my office at Thunderel Engineering in Boise, Idaho, staring at blueprints for a commercial HVAC system when her call interrupted my afternoon. The vacation house? I asked, already knowing where this was headed. Yes, Trevor and I really need a getaway. Things have been so stressful with the wedding planning, and we just want a quiet weekend to relax. You're not using it this month, right? I hesitated. The cabin I'd bought 2 years ago in the mountains outside McCall had been my sanctuary, my reward for years of 70-hour work weeks and relentless climbing up the engineering ladder. At 29, I was one of the youngest senior project managers at my firm, overseeing a team of 12 engineers. That cabin represented everything I'd worked for. I don't know, Brooke. Last time you borrowed my car, you returned it with an empty tank and a stain on the back seat. That was 3 years ago. God, you never let anything go. I'm not a kid anymore, Kirsten. I'm getting married in 4 months. Trevor and I are responsible adults. I rubbed my temple, feeling the familiar pressure of being the older sister, the one who was supposed to be understanding and generous. Our parents had drilled that into me since Brooke was born. Take care of your sister. Be the bigger person. Let it go. Fine, I said. But I'm serious, Brooke. The place needs to be exactly how you found it. No parties, no extra guests, just you and Trevor. Of course. Thank you so much, Kirsten. You're the best sister ever. I promise we'll treat it like it's made of glass. After we hung up, I forwarded her the lockbox code and a list of instructions about the security system, the fireplace, and how to work the hot tub. I didn't mention the security cameras I'd installed 6 months ago after a string of break-ins in the area. They were discreet, positioned in the main living areas and outside entries. I'd honestly forgotten about them when Brooke called. That was Thursday afternoon. By Friday evening, I'd pushed the whole thing out of my mind, buried under project deadlines and client meetings. The weekend passed in its usual blur of work emails and meal prep for the week ahead. I lived alone in a modest house in Boise's North End, surrounded by neighbors I barely knew despite living there for 3 years. My life had become a carefully constructed routine: work, gym, home, repeat. The cabin was supposed to be my escape from that routine, but lately I'd been too busy to use it. Sunday evening, I was sitting on my couch with my laptop reviewing structural calculations when my phone buzzed with a motion alert from the cabin's security system. I'd set it up to notify me of any unusual activity, but I'd expected it would just be Brooke and Trevor leaving. I opened the app on my phone, intending to just verify they'd locked up properly. What I saw made my stomach drop. The live feed showed my cabin's main living room in complete disarray. The coffee table I'd spent weeks refinishing was overturned. Red liquid wine, I assumed, stained my cream-colored area rug. Solo cups littered every surface, but the cameras had been recording all weekend. I started with Friday night. The timestamp showed 8:30 p.m. Brooke and Trevor arrived, and for about an hour everything looked fine. They made dinner, sat on the couch, acted like the quiet couple they'd promised to be. Then, 9:45 p.m., the front door opened again. 3 people walked in, then 5 more, then what looked like a dozen more over the next hour. Music started blasting. People were dancing on my furniture. Someone was doing shots off my kitchen counter. I watched, my jaw clenched as the party escalated. Around midnight, a guy I didn't recognize started throwing bottles into my fireplace. They shattered against the stone hearth. Brooke was visible in several shots, laughing and dancing, a drink in her hand, clearly the center of attention. Saturday was worse. The party apparently continued through the entire day and into the night. At one point, someone spray-painted graffiti on my back deck. I could see the bright orange letters spelling out something I couldn't quite make out through the camera angle. My antique bookshelf, the one I'd bought at an estate sale and lovingly restored, was lying on its side with books scattered everywhere. Sunday morning, the footage showed Brooke and Trevor waking up around 11. They looked around at the destruction with what appeared to be mild concern, but made no effort to clean anything. They gathered their bags and left by noon, leaving the cabin looking like a tornado had torn through it. I sat frozen on my couch, watching the empty cabin on my phone screen. The mess was staggering. Thousands of dollars in damage, easily. My sanctuary, my private retreat, had been violated. My hands shook as I called Brooke. She answered on the fourth ring, her voice bright and cheerful. "Hey, we just got back to town. Thanks again for letting us use the cabin. It was exactly what we needed." Brooke. My voice was ice. "What happened at my cabin this weekend?" There was a pause. "What do you mean? Nothing happened. We had a quiet weekend, just like we said." "Don't lie to me. I have cameras." The silence stretched out between us, and I could practically hear her brain scrambling for an excuse. "Cameras?" Brooke's voice had shifted from cheerful to defensive in an instant. "You didn't tell me you had cameras. That's such an invasion of privacy, Kirsten. God, you're so paranoid." "Invasion of privacy? It's my property. And you threw a massive party, destroyed my things, and now you're lying about it?" "Okay, fine. A few friends came over. It wasn't planned, they just showed up. And it wasn't that bad, you're totally overreacting." I pulled up the footage on my laptop while keeping her on the phone. "I'm looking at spray paint on my deck right now, Brooke. My bookshelf is destroyed. There's wine or something all over my rug. This is thousands of dollars in damage. So what do you want me to do about it?" "I don't have that kind of money right now. Trevor and I are paying for a wedding." The casualness of her response stunned me. No apology, no remorse, just immediate defensiveness about money. "You have one chance to fix this," I said, keeping my voice steady despite the rage building inside me. "You go back to that cabin, you clean every single inch of it. You replace what you broke, and you pay for the professional cleaning and repairs." Brooke laughed. Actually laughed. "Are you serious right now? I'm not driving 3 hours back up there to clean. It's just a little mess. Hire someone if it bothers you so much. You make way more money than I do anyway. That's not the point. No, the point is you're being ridiculous. It's a vacation house. It's meant to be used and lived in, not treated like some museum. Honestly, this is exactly why nobody likes asking you for favors. You always hold everything over people's heads." My breath caught. "Nobody likes asking me for favors?" "Brooke, you ask me for favors constantly. I helped you pay your rent last year. I co-signed your car lease. I threw you an engagement party that cost me $3,000. Yeah, and you never let me forget any of it. Every time we talk, you bring up some way you've helped me. It's exhausting, Kirsten. Maybe if you weren't so uptight and controlling, you'd actually have friends and a life instead of just work in that stupid cabin." The words hit like physical blows. I'd always known Brooke saw me as the strict, serious older sister, but I hadn't realized the depth of her resentment. "I'm giving you until Wednesday," I said quietly. "Fix the cabin or I'm taking legal action." "Legal action?" She laughed again, harder this time. "Oh my God, you're going to sue your own sister over what? Some spilled wine?"
Do you hear yourself? You sound insane.
"I'm not joking, Brooke. Whatever. Do what you want. I'm done with this conversation." She hung up. I sat there staring at my phone, my whole body trembling with anger and hurt. The thing that bothered me most wasn't even the damage to the cabin anymore. It was the realization that my sister saw me as nothing more than a walking ATM machine and safety net, someone to use and mock. I'd spent my whole life being the responsible one. After our father died when I was 15 and Brooke was 13, I'd stepped into a parent role I never asked for. Our mother worked 2 jobs to keep us afloat, and I'd been the one making sure Brooke got to school, had dinner, did her homework. I'd sacrificed my social life, worked part-time through high school and college, graduated with honors in mechanical engineering while Brooke barely made it through her communications degree. And this was how she saw me. Uptight, controlling, someone who held favors over people's heads. I opened my laptop and started downloading all the security footage onto an external hard drive. Every angle, every timestamp, every piece of evidence. If Brooke thought I was bluffing about legal action, she was wrong. Monday morning at work, I was distracted during our team meeting. My colleague Jason noticed and pulled me aside after. You okay? You seem off today. Jason was one of the few people at Thunderall I considered a friend. We'd started the same week 5 years ago and had climbed the ranks together. Family stuff, I said. My sister threw a party at my cabin and trashed it. Ouch, that's rough. What are you going to do? I don't know yet. She refused to fix it or pay for the damage. Jason shook his head. Man, family is complicated. My brother once borrowed my truck and returned it with a dent and no explanation. Sometimes you just have to let it go for the sake of keeping peace. But that was exactly what I'd been doing my entire life. Letting things go. Being the bigger person. Sacrificing my own needs and boundaries because that's what good older sisters did. That evening, I drove up to the cabin myself. The 3-hour drive through winding mountain roads gave me plenty of time to think, to let my anger solidify into something colder and more determined. When I walked through the front door, the smell hit me first. Stale beer, cigarettes, something else I couldn't identify. The damage was even worse in person. The spray paint on the deck spelled out Brooke and Trevor forever in sloppy orange letters. My antique bookshelf wasn't just knocked over. Someone had broken off one of the legs. The wine stain on the rug had set and spread. Cigarette burns dotted my couch cushions. I walked through each room, documenting everything with my phone camera. The guest bedroom had somehow escaped the worst of it, but the master bedroom, where Brooke and Trevor had apparently slept, had wet towels thrown across my bed, makeup ground into the bathroom counter, and a broken lamp on the nightstand. In the kitchen, I found empty bottles everywhere. I counted them as I cleaned. 43 beer bottles, 12 wine bottles, 5 liquor bottles. This hadn't been a small gathering of friends. This had been a rager. I spent 6 hours that first evening just collecting trash, filling bag after bag with Solo cups, bottles, food wrappers, and cigarette butts. The physical labor helped channel my anger into something productive, but it also gave me time to think clearly about what I wanted to do next. By the time I drove back to Boise Tuesday evening, I'd made several decisions. I'd called a professional cleaning service that quoted me $2,200 for deep cleaning and odor removal. A furniture repair specialist said the bookshelf couldn't be saved and would cost $1,800 to replace with something comparable. The couch needed reupholstering at $900. The rug was a total loss at $700. The deck would need professional paint removal and refinishing at $1,500. The broken lamp, damaged countertop, and various other items added another $1,000. Total damages over $8,000. I called Brooke again Tuesday night. She answered with an annoyed sigh. What now, Kirsten? I had the cabin assessed. The damage is over $8,000. I'm giving you one more chance to work out a payment plan with me before I take this further. $8,000? Are you kidding me? You're making that up to punish me. No way is the damage that expensive. I have receipts and quotes from professionals. I'm happy to send them to you. I already told you I don't have that kind of money. And honestly, I don't think I should have to pay anyway. You never told me about the cameras. If I'd known I was being watched, obviously things would have been different. This is partially your fault for being creepy and spying on me. The audacity of this statement left me momentarily speechless. Are you seriously trying to blame me for you destroying my property? I'm saying you set me up. You let me use the cabin knowing you had cameras, probably hoping I'd do something wrong so you could hold it over me. This is exactly the kind of manipulative thing you do. Brooke, I installed those cameras for security after there were break-ins in the area. This has nothing to do with you. And even if I hadn't had cameras, did you really think I wouldn't notice the damage when I came back? Whatever, I'm not paying. Sue me if you want, but you're going to look ridiculous suing your own sister right before her wedding. Mom is going to be so disappointed in you. She hung up again. The mention of our mother was a calculated move. Brooke knew exactly which buttons to push. Our mother had always favored Brooke, the baby. the one who needed more help. I was the strong, independent one who didn't need as much attention or support. I sat at my kitchen table and pulled out my laptop. It was time to stop giving Brooke chances to do the right thing. She'd made her choice. I spent the next 3 hours researching property damage laws in Idaho. What I found was surprisingly straightforward. With clear video evidence of the party and the resulting damage, I had a strong case for both civil damages and potentially criminal charges for vandalism and trespassing, since Brooke had allowed unauthorized guests onto my property. Wednesday morning, I called a lawyer my company had used for contract disputes. Lauren was sharp, efficient, and after I explained the situation and showed her the footage, she agreed to take the case. "This is pretty clear-cut," Lauren said, reviewing the videos on her computer. "You have explicit video evidence of significant property damage. The fact that your sister was the one who organized the party makes her liable. The spray paint alone could constitute criminal vandalism." "I don't want to send my sister to jail," I said. "I just want her to take responsibility and pay for the damage." "Then we'll start with a strongly worded demand letter. If she doesn't respond or refuses to negotiate, we can file a civil suit. And I'd recommend filing a police report as well, just to have it on record. You don't have to press charges, but having the report creates a paper trail." That afternoon, I went to the Boise Police Department and filed a report. The officer who took my statement was sympathetic as I showed him the footage. "Does happen more often than you'd think," he said. "People borrowing vacation properties and throwing parties. Usually insurance covers most of it, but given that it was your sister, this is definitely a civil matter. However, the vandalism with the spray paint is criminal. We can send someone to talk to her if you want." "Can you do that without me pressing charges yet?" "Sure. Sometimes just having an officer show up is enough to make people realize the seriousness of the situation." I provided Brooke and Trevor's address. The officer said they'd send someone over within the next few days, probably by the weekend. Thursday. Lauren's demand letter was ready. It detailed the damages, included still frames from the security footage, and gave Brooke 14 days to respond with a payment plan or face legal action. Lauren had it couriered to Brooke's apartment to ensure it couldn't be ignored. Friday evening, my phone exploded with messages. "Brooke, are you kidding me right now? Brooke, you actually sent me a legal letter? What is wrong with you? Brooke, Mom is going to hear about this. You're ruining my wedding and my life over nothing." Then Trevor texted me, which was unusual since we barely communicated. "Trevor, Kirsten, this is getting out of hand. Can't we just talk this through like adults?" I didn't respond to either of them. Let them panic. Let them finally understand there were consequences to their actions. Saturday morning, I was at the gym when Brooke called. I ignored it. She called 3 more times. Finally, she texted, "Brooke, the police came to our apartment. They asked about the cabin. This is insane. Call me now." I smiled as I stepped onto the treadmill. The officer had followed through quickly. Good. Brooke didn't laugh anymore, and this was just the beginning. Saturday afternoon, I finally called Brooke back. She answered on the first ring, her voice shrill with panic. "The police were at my door, Kirsten. They said I committed vandalism and trespassing. Do you understand how serious this is? I could have a criminal record." "Maybe you should have thought about that before you threw a party and spray painted my deck. This is revenge because I wouldn't clean up. You're actually trying to get me arrested over a stupid mess. What kind of person does that to their own sister?" I took a deep breath, keeping my voice calm. "I gave you multiple chances to handle this privately. You laughed at me. You called me paranoid and controlling. You refused to take any responsibility. What did you expect would happen? I expected you to be reasonable, to understand that mistakes happen and people deserve forgiveness, but you're so bitter and vindictive that you'd rather destroy your own family than let anything go. I'm not the one who destroyed anything, Brooke. You did that, literally." There was a long pause. When she spoke again, her voice had changed tactics, becoming smaller and more pitiful. "Please, Kirsten. I'm sorry." "Okay. I should have been more careful, but if I get charged with a crime, it's going to affect everything. My job could be at risk. The wedding might have to be postponed. Trevor's parents are already questioning whether I'm responsible enough to marry their son. Then you should have thought about all of that before you trashed my cabin. I'll pay you back. I promise. Just make this go away. Talk to the lawyer. Talk to the police. Tell them it was a misunderstanding. It wasn't a misunderstanding. You deliberately brought dozens of people to my property, allowed them to destroy it, and then lied to me about it. Fine. Her voice turned sharp again. You want to know the truth? Everyone at that party was talking about what a stuck-up, lonely workaholic you are. Do you know what Trevor said? He said he felt sorry for me having a sister who's so obsessed with material things that she values furniture more than family. And he's right. You care more about your precious cabin than you care about me. The words were meant to hurt, and they did. But they also clarified something for me. Brooke didn't see her actions as wrong. She saw my response to her actions as the problem. I'm done with this conversation, I said. You'll hear from my lawyer. Wait. I hung up. That evening, my mother called. I'd been expecting it. Kirsten Marie, what is going on? Brooke called me in tears saying you're trying to have her arrested. Hi, Mom. I'm fine. Thanks for asking. How are you? Don't be smart with me. Your sister is beside herself. She made a mistake. Yes, but this is family. You don't handle family problems with lawyers and police. She didn't make a mistake, Mom. She deliberately threw a party at my cabin, caused over $8,000 in damage, and refused to take any responsibility for it. $8,000? That seems excessive. Are you sure you're not exaggerating? I closed my eyes, feeling 14 years old again, being told to let things go when Brooke broke my favorite necklace because she's just a little kid and you're old enough to share. I have professional estimates from multiple contractors. I'm not exaggerating. Well, even so, she's your sister. She's getting married in a few months. This stress could ruin the most important day of her life. And the stress of being stolen from and lied to is supposed to be fine for me. You know, that's not what I mean. You've always been the strong one, Kirsten. You can handle things better than Brooke can. She's more sensitive. She's not sensitive, Mom. She's irresponsible, and I'm done enabling it. Enabling? You sound like you've been reading too many self-help books. This is your family. When your father died, we all had to pull together and forgive each other's mistakes. That's what families do. The mention of my father felt like a low blow. Dad would be disappointed in how Brooke treats people and expects no consequences. How dare you speak for your father? He loved both his daughters equally. I never said he didn't, but he also taught us to take responsibility for our actions. Or at least he tried to teach Brooke that before he died. My mother was silent for a long moment. I'm very disappointed in you, Kirsten. I thought I raised you better than this. Yeah, well, I thought you raised Brooke better than to trash other people's property and laugh about it. She hung up on me. I sat on my couch, my hands shaking. The problem with standing up for yourself, I was learning, was that everyone who'd benefited from you being a pushover suddenly turned on you. I was the villain now, the cold-hearted sister who valued money over family. Sunday, I drove back up to the cabin to meet with the contractors. The cleaning service came first, a team of 3 people who spent 4 hours scrubbing and sanitizing. They removed the worst of the stains and smells, but even they said some damage was permanent. The cigarette burns in the couch can't be fixed without reupholstering, the team lead said. And the wine in this rug has set too deep. You'd need professional restoration that would cost more than replacing it. The furniture repair specialist confirmed the bookshelf was a loss. The wood is split at the joints. Even if I could repair it, it would never be stable again. The deck specialist gave me the worst news. The spray paint has seeped into the grain of the wood. I can sand it down and refinish it, but there's going to be ghost marks. You might need to replace these boards entirely. By the time I drove home Sunday evening, my initial estimate of $8,000 had grown to closer to $10,000. And that was with me doing some of the smaller repairs myself. Monday morning, I was back at work when Lauren called. I got a response from your sister's boyfriend. She said he wants to negotiate. He's offering $1,500 to settle this and make it go away. $1,500? The damages are 10 times that. I know. I told him that. He said it's all they can afford right now and suggested you could use your insurance for the rest. My insurance has a $3,000 deductible, and using it would make my premium skyrocket. This is ridiculous. I agree. I'm drafting a response rejecting the offer. But Kirsten, I should warn you, if we proceed with a lawsuit, it's going to get uglier. Family disputes in court can be brutal. I understand. Move forward. That afternoon, I got a Facebook message from someone I didn't recognize. When I opened it, my stomach sank. Hi, Kirsten. My name is Malalari. I was at the party at your cabin. I just wanted you to know that Brooke told everyone the cabin belonged to her and that you were the mean older sister who never let her use it. She said this was her one chance to enjoy it before you sold it or something. I had no idea we weren't supposed to be there. I'm really sorry about any damage. If you want to talk to me about what happened, I'm happy to help. I stared at the message, reading it 3 times to make sure I understood correctly. Brooke had told people the cabin was hers. She'd positioned herself as the victim of my supposed meanness. I responded to Mallory immediately. Thank you for reaching out. Would you be willing to provide a statement about what Brooke told people at the party? It would really help my case, she replied within minutes. Absolutely. I actually feel terrible about it. I never would have come if I'd known the truth. Several other people have been talking about it too. We all feel like Brooke lied to us. Over the next 2 days, I heard from 4 more people who'd been at the party. They all told similar stories. Brooke had invited them, saying it was her cabin, and she wanted to celebrate her engagement with friends. She'd encouraged people to bring others. What was supposed to be a small gathering had snowballed into a full party because Brooke kept inviting more people and telling them to spread the word. One person, a guy named Justin, sent me a particularly damning message. Brooke was bragging about how she'd convinced you to let her use the place. She said you were uptight about your stuff and she wanted to prove the cabin was meant to be enjoyed, not treated like a museum. I remember thinking it was weird how she talked about you, like there was this rivalry between you. When things got out of hand, she just laughed and said you'd never know because you never came up there anyway. I forwarded all of these messages to Lauren, who was delighted. This is excellent. It shows premeditation and deliberate deception. She didn't just make a mistake. She planned this party knowing it would cause damage and lied to people to make it happen. By Wednesday, Trevor called me directly. His voice was tight and angry. You need to back off, Kirsten. This vendetta you have against Brooke is affecting both our lives. My parents are threatening to pull their funding for the wedding. Brooke has been so stressed that she can barely function. Is this really what you want? To ruin your sister's happiness? I want her to take responsibility for destroying my property. It's a vacation house. It's not like she burned down your primary residence. You're acting like she committed some heinous crime when it was just a party that got a little out of hand. A little out of hand. Trevor, there's video of someone throwing bottles into my fireplace. Someone spray painted my deck. Did you even try to stop any of it? There was a pause. I was drunk. We both were. Things happened fast. So you're admitting you saw what was happening and did nothing to stop it? I'm admitting that we made mistakes, but we're trying to move forward with our lives and you're stuck in the past. The mature thing to do would be to accept our apology and let us pay you back over time. Your apology? Brooke hasn't actually apologized. She's blamed me, called me names, and tried to make herself the victim. That's not an apology because you've been attacking her. You sent lawyers and police after her before even trying to have a calm conversation. I tried to have a conversation. She laughed at me and hung up. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. Brooke told me about your history, how you've always been jealous of her, how you use money to control people, how you've held grudges since you were kids. I see it now. This isn't about the cabin. This is about you wanting to punish Brooke for being happier than you. The psychology degree analysis from someone who'd known me for 2 years was almost funny. Almost. Believe whatever makes you feel better about what you did, Trevor. But you're still going to have to face the consequences. We'll see about that. He hung up. Thursday morning, I woke up to discover I'd been tagged in a Facebook post. Brooke had written a long, emotional status about how I was weaponizing the legal system against her over minor damage to my investment property. She painted herself as a struggling young woman trying to build a life with her fiancé, while her wealthy, vindictive sister tried to destroy her over material possessions. The post had 73 comments, mostly from her friends, sympathizing with her and calling me heartless. Several people I'd gone to high school with chimed in with variations of, "That's so sad and family should come first." I screenshotted everything and sent it to Lauren. "Can she do this? Isn't this defamation?" Lauren called me. "It's borderline. She's not stating outright lies, just framing the situation to make herself look sympathetic. But it does show she's trying to damage your reputation, which could actually help our case. It demonstrates a pattern of manipulation and lack of remorse." That evening, I crafted my own Facebook post. I rarely used social media, but this felt necessary. I kept it factual and unemotional. I want to address some misinformation being spread about a legal situation involving my property. I allowed my sister to use my cabin for a quiet weekend. She instead threw a party with over 50 guests without my knowledge or permission, resulting in over $10,000 in documented damage. When asked to take responsibility, she refused and insulted me. I'm pursuing legal action not out of vindictiveness, but because I believe people should be accountable for their actions. I've tried to keep this private, but since it's now been made public, I wanted to share my side. I didn't tag Brooke or mention her by name, but everyone who knew us would understand. I also included one carefully selected screenshot from the security footage, showing the trashed living room with the timestamp clearly visible. The response was immediate and mixed. Some people defended me, saying they'd do the same thing in my position. Others accused me of airing family drama publicly. But the most interesting responses came from people I barely knew. One woman commented, "My sister borrowed my car once and totaled it, then acted like I was unreasonable for being upset. I wish I'd had the courage to hold her accountable like you're doing." Another wrote, "The people calling you materialistic are missing the point. It's not about the stuff. It's about the disrespect and betrayal." But then, Brooke's maid of honor, a woman named Stephanie, commented, "This is low, even for you, Kirsten, trying to turn people against Brooke right before her wedding. She made a mistake and she's sorry. Let it go." I didn't respond to any of the comments. I'd said what I needed to say. Friday afternoon, everything changed. Lauren called me and I could hear the excitement in her voice. "Kirsten, I just got something interesting. One of the people who was at the party sent me a video. Someone recorded Brooke at like 2 a.m. drunk, saying she hoped your cabin got trashed because you deserved it for being such a..." She said, and I quote, "Maybe this will teach her that things don't matter as much as people." My heart pounded. Someone recorded that? Yes, and they're willing to testify. Apparently, they thought it was funny at the time, but after seeing your Facebook post, they realized how serious the situation actually was. This changes everything. This shows intent to cause damage, not just negligence. I met with Lauren in person Saturday morning to review the video. It was shaky phone footage, clearly filmed by someone who was also drunk, but the audio was unmistakable. Brooke was sitting on my couch, which now had cigarette burns in it, a drink in her hand, surrounded by people. You know what Kirsten's problem is? Brooke's voice was slurred but audible. She thinks her stupid things matter more than people. Like she'd rather have a perfect cabin than have any kind of relationship with me. So, you know what? I hope this place gets trashed. Maybe it'll teach her a lesson about what actually matters in life. Someone off camera laughed and said, "You're going to be in so much trouble." Brooke laughed too. She'll be mad, but she'll get over it. She always does. She acts all tough, but she's too scared to actually do anything. She'll complain, and I'll cry, and Mom will tell her to let it go, and everything will be fine. That's how it always works. The video ended there. I sat back in Lauren's office chair processing what I just heard. Brooke had intentionally wanted the cabin damaged. This wasn't a party that got out of hand. This was calculated revenge for perceived slights. With this video, we can make a case for intentional property damage. Lauren said that's a much more serious civil claim, and it significantly strengthens the criminal case if the prosecutor decides to pursue it. I want to pursue it, I said quietly. All of it. That afternoon, I received an email from my mother. Not a call, an email. Kirsten, I've seen your Facebook post and I'm appalled. How dare you air your family's private business for everyone to see? You're humiliating your sister publicly. She called me crying for an hour yesterday because people are sending her hateful messages. I don't care what happened at that cabin. You're being cruel and unforgiving, and I'm ashamed to call you my daughter right now. Don't contact me until you're ready to apologize to Brooke and drop this ridiculous lawsuit. I read it twice, then deleted it without responding. Sunday, I got a call from an unknown number. When I answered, a woman's voice said, "Hi, is this Kirsten? My name is Patricia, and I'm Trevor's mother. I was hoping we could talk." I almost hung up, expecting another lecture about family forgiveness, but something in her tone made me pause. "What do you want to talk about?" "I want to apologize on behalf of my son. My husband and I had no idea about what happened at your cabin until all this legal drama started. When we asked Trevor about it, he tried to downplay it, but we pushed and finally got the truth. What they did was inexcusable. I was stunned." "Oh, thank you. We raised Trevor to be responsible and respectful of other people's property. I'm horrified that he participated in this and then tried to minimize it. We've told him that we expect him to take full responsibility and pay for his share of the damages." "That's very kind of you. But Brooke was the one who planned it, and my son was there. He was an adult who made his own choices. He's accountable for his actions regardless of who else was involved. We've already spoken to our lawyer about setting up a payment arrangement with you. We'd like to settle our portion of this before it goes to court." I could barely speak. I don't know what to say. "Thank you." "Don't thank me. This is the bare minimum of decent behavior. I'm sorry my son didn't learn it sooner." She paused. "Can I ask you something?" "Sure. Are you and Brooke going to be able to recover from this?" I thought about it. I don't know. Maybe if she'd shown even a tiny bit of remorse or accountability, but instead she's playing the victim and trying to turn everyone against me. "I've noticed that about her," Patricia said carefully. "In the year that Trevor and she have been together, I've watched her manipulate situations to always come out looking innocent. She's very good at it. I've tried to talk to Trevor about it, but he doesn't see it. She's been doing it her whole life. I believe you. Well, my husband and I will be in touch through our lawyer. And Kirsten, stand your ground. You're doing the right thing." After we hung up, I sat in my kitchen feeling something I hadn't felt in weeks. Validation. Someone from the other side understood. Someone saw Brooke for what she really was. Monday morning at work, Jason pulled me aside again. "Hey, I saw the Facebook stuff. That's rough. How are you holding up?" "I'm okay. It's been intense, but I think I'm doing the right thing." "For what it's worth, I think you are too. My wife read your post and said she wished more people had your backbone. Her sister pulls the same kind of stuff and the whole family just enables it." "Thanks. That actually means a lot." That afternoon, Trevor's parents' lawyer contacted Lauren. They were offering to pay $3,500, roughly a third of the total damages as Trevor's share. They also provided a written statement from Trevor, admitting to being present during the party, witnessing the damage and doing nothing to stop it or report it afterward. Lauren called me immediately. "This is huge. With Trevor's parents cooperating and his statement, we have even more leverage against Brooke. This proves she wasn't alone in this." Tuesday, Brooke left me a voicemail. Her voice was different, smaller, almost broken. "Kirsten, please call me back." Trevor's parents are making him pay them back thousands of dollars, and they're threatening to not come to the wedding if we don't fix this. My friends are turning on me because of that video someone sent around. People are messaging me saying I'm a terrible person. I need you to stop. Please. I'm begging you. I can't take this anymore. I listened to the message 3 times. There was no apology in it, no acknowledgement that she'd done anything wrong, just a plea for me to stop holding her accountable because the consequences were too uncomfortable. I didn't call her back. Wednesday. I received a formal settlement offer through Lauren. Brooke was now willing to pay $4,000 over 12 months and issue a written apology. It still wasn't enough to cover all the damages, but it was progress. "What do you think?" Lauren asked. I thought about the months of stress ahead if we went to court, the family relationships that would be irreparably damaged,
The time and energy it would consume.
but I also thought about the video of Brooke saying she hoped my cabin got trashed, the years of being treated like a doormat, the pattern of behavior that would never change unless someone finally made her face real consequences. "Reject it," I said. "We're going to court." The lawsuit was filed on a Thursday morning in early November. Lauren handed me the court documents with a satisfied smile. Once she's officially served, she'll have 30 days to respond. Given everything we have, the video evidence, the witness statements, Trevor's admission, and that recording of her saying she wanted the place trashed, I think we're in an excellent position. Brooke was served at her apartment that evening. I know because she called me at 9 p.m., screaming so loudly I had to hold the phone away from my ear. "You actually did it. You're actually suing me. What is wrong with you? This is insane. You left me no choice, Brooke. You refused every reasonable attempt to settle this." Reasonable? You call demanding $10,000 reasonable? I'm trying to plan a wedding. Trevor and I are already struggling because his parents cut off our funding. We can barely afford our rent right now. Maybe you should have thought about that before you intentionally damage my property. I didn't intentionally damage anything. Things just got out of hand. People got drunk and stupid. It wasn't personal. There's a video of you saying you hope the place got trashed to teach me a lesson. That sounds pretty intentional to me. Silence then. Who sent you that video? Was it Mallory? I knew that couldn't be trusted. It doesn't matter who sent it. What matters is that it exists and it's evidence. Evidence of what? That I said something drunk and stupid? That doesn't prove anything. It proves you wanted to damage my property out of spite. Combined with everything else, it's more than enough. "I hate you," she said, her voice shaking. "I genuinely hate you. You've ruined my life over stupid furniture and paint. I hope you're happy." She hung up. I wasn't happy, but I was determined. The next week, my mother showed up at my house unannounced. I came home from work to find her sitting on my front porch, her face tight with anger. "We need to talk." "I don't think we do, Mom. You made it clear you're on Brooke's side." "I'm not on anyone's side. I'm trying to hold this family together while you tear it apart." "I'm not the one who tore anything apart." She stood up, following me as I unlocked my door. "Can I at least come inside?" I hesitated, then opened the door wider. We sat in my living room, the tension thick between us. "Brooke came to my house yesterday. My mother said she was hysterical. She's lost 12 pounds from stress. She's not sleeping. Her therapist says she's having panic attacks. She has a therapist. She started seeing one after you filed the lawsuit. She's completely falling apart, Kirsten." I felt a twinge of something. Not quite guilt, but something close. Then I remembered the video, the lies, the complete lack of remorse. "I'm sorry she's struggling, but this situation is entirely of her own making. You could make it stop. You could drop the lawsuit and work something out privately." I tried that. She laughed at me. Remember, my mother's face softened slightly. "I know she didn't handle it well, but she's young and she made a mistake. You're punishing her beyond what the crime deserves." "The crime?" Mom, she caused over $10,000 in damage to my property, lied about it, rallied people against me on social media, and has shown zero genuine remorse. What punishment would be appropriate in your mind? She's your sister. You're supposed to protect her, not destroy her. I protected her my whole childhood. I covered for her. I bailed her out. I sacrificed my own needs for hers. And this is how she repays me. By treating my things and my trust like they're worthless. Not everything is about keeping score. Kirsten, you're right.
It's not about keeping score. It's about boundaries and consequences.
Things you never taught Brooke because you always let her get away with everything. My mother stood up abruptly. I came here hoping we could find a solution, but I see you're determined to play the victim and destroy your sister's happiness. When you're old and alone because you pushed everyone away with your bitterness, remember that you chose this. She left, slamming the door behind her. I sat on my couch, my hands trembling. The conversation had gone exactly as I'd expected, but it still hurt. My family was fracturing, and I was being blamed for it. That weekend, I drove up to the cabin again. Most of the repairs were done. The deck had been sanded and refinished, though faint shadows of the spray paint remained if you knew where to look. The new rug looked almost identical to the old one. The reupholstered couch was pristine. The replacement bookshelf wasn't antique, but it was solid and beautiful. I walked through the rooms, touching the new surfaces, and felt a strange mix of satisfaction and sadness. The physical damage was mostly fixed. The emotional damage would take longer. Monday morning, Lauren called with news. Brooke's lawyer filed a response. They're claiming you're exaggerating the damages and that you share some liability for not warning her about the security cameras. They're also counterclaiming for emotional distress. Emotional distress. She's counterclaiming against me? It's a common tactic. They want to make you look like the aggressor, but honestly, it's weak. Her lawyer knows it. I think they're posturing to try to force a settlement. What should we do? We proceed as planned. Discovery starts next week. We'll request all her communications, financial records, everything. If she's been talking about this with friends or posting about it online, we'll find it. Discovery was a revelation. Over the next 3 weeks, we obtained text messages, social media posts,
And emails that painted a damning picture of Brooke's mindset. There were texts to her friends before the cabin weekend. Finally getting to use Kirsten's precious cabin. She's so uptight about it, acts like it's a museum. Time to actually live there for once. Messages during the party. This is amazing. Best engagement party ever. Kirsten would die if she could see this, LOL. Messages after I'd confronted her. My sister is literally insane. She's threatening to sue me over some spilled wine and broken furniture. She makes 6 figures and she's freaking out over like a few thousand. More messages. I can't believe I'm related to someone so materialistic and heartless. She cares more about things than about me. Each message was a knife, but they were also ammunition. They showed a pattern of disrespect, premeditation, and complete lack of accountability. The most damaging discovery came from Trevor's phone records. There were texts between him and Brooke after my first phone call, where she'd laughed at my threats. Brooke, she's never going to actually do anything. She's all talk. Trevor, are you sure? She sounded pretty serious. Brooke, trust me. I've known her my whole life. She'll be mad for a while. Mom will guilt her into letting it go and everything will be fine. It always works that way, Trevor. But the damage is pretty bad, Brooke. So what? She can afford to fix it. She's loaded, and she has nothing else to spend money on anyway. No husband, no kids, just work and that stupid cabin. Honestly, we probably did her a favor. Now she has something to do besides obsess over her career. Reading those messages in Lauren's office, I felt something shift inside me. Any remaining doubt about pursuing this case evaporated. This wasn't about the money anymore. It was about standing up to someone who'd spent years taking advantage of my love and obligation as her sister. This is gold, Lauren said. It shows contempt for you.
admission that she knew the damage was significant,
and evidence that she believed she could manipulate the family dynamics to escape consequences. The trial date was set for January. As the holidays approached, the tension in my family reached a breaking point. Thanksgiving was canceled. My mother told me I wasn't welcome at her house if I was going to insist on destroying Brooke's life. I spent Thanksgiving alone, eating takeout Chinese food and watching movies. It should have been depressing, but instead I felt strangely free. No more pretending everything was fine. No more swallowing my feelings to keep the peace. Jason invited me to his family's Thanksgiving the following weekend, which helped. His wife, Kelly, was warm and welcoming. "Jason told me about everything you're going through," Kelly said as we washed dishes together. "I think you're incredibly brave. My sister pulled similar stuff for years, and I never had the courage to stand up to her. Now she barely speaks to me anyway because I stopped giving her money. Do you regret it?" "Not for a second. I just wish I'd done it sooner." December brought more developments. Trevor's parents formally paid their portion of the settlement, $3,500, plus a letter of apology for their son's role. The money went into an account to pay for the repairs, though it didn't cover everything. Brooke and Trevor's relationship was apparently crumbling. I heard through mutual acquaintances that they were fighting constantly, that Trevor blamed Brooke for the loss of his parents' financial support, and that Brooke blamed me for everything. The wedding was still scheduled for February, but word was that attendance was way down. Many of the people who'd been at the cabin party had distanced themselves from Brooke after the video, and text messages became more widely known. Her reputation had taken a serious hit. 2 weeks before Christmas, I received a handwritten letter in the mail. It was from Brooke. "Kirsten, I know you probably don't want to hear from me,
But I need to try one more time.
I'm sorry. I'm truly, deeply sorry for what happened at your cabin. I made terrible choices and I hurt you. I was drunk and stupid and I said awful things. I don't expect you to forgive me, but I'm begging you to please drop the lawsuit. Trevor and I have broken up. His parents hate me. Half my friends won't talk to me. I've lost my job because the stress was affecting my performance. Mom is barely speaking to me because she's caught between us. I have nothing left. The wedding is canceled. My life is in ruins. Please, please let this end. I'll pay you back however I can. I'll do whatever you want. Just please make this stop." I read the letter 3 times. This was the closest thing to a genuine apology I'd received from Brooke. But even in her apology, there was a manipulation. The litany of consequences she'd faced designed to make me feel guilty for holding her accountable. I showed the letter to Lauren. "What do you want to do?" she asked. "I want to see this through. She's only sorry because she's facing consequences, not because she actually understands what she did wrong." Then we proceed to trial. The letter went into evidence as Exhibit M. The trial took place over 2 days in mid-January. The courtroom was smaller than I'd expected, less dramatic than what you see on television. Brooke sat at the defendant's table with her lawyer, looking thin and tired. She wouldn't meet my eyes. Lauren presented our case methodically. The security footage played on a screen showing the party in time-lapse, the arrival of dozens of people, the escalating chaos, the visible destruction. The jury watched in silence. The witness statements were read into the record. Mallory testified in person, describing how Brooke had told everyone the cabin was hers. Trevor's written admission was entered as evidence. The text messages were displayed on screen, each one damaging Brooke's credibility further. The most impactful moment came when Lauren played the video of drunk Brooke saying she hoped the place got trashed. You could see the jury's reaction. The shift from neutral observation to clear disapproval. Brooke's lawyer tried to paint me as vindictive, as someone using the legal system to punish a family member over a simple mistake. But the evidence was overwhelming. The damage estimates from professionals were unassailable. The video proof was irrefutable. When it was Brooke's turn to testify, she took the stand, looking terrified. Her lawyer asked her gentle questions, trying to establish that she hadn't meant for things to get so out of control. "I invited a few friends to celebrate my engagement," she said, her voice small. "It just grew beyond what I'd planned. I never intended for anyone to damage anything." Then Lauren cross-examined her. "Miss Brooke, you stated you only invited a few friends. How many is a few? Maybe 10 people initially, but over 50 people attended according to your own text messages. Did you not continue inviting people throughout the evening?" Some people brought others. And when you saw the damage occurring, bottles being thrown, spray paint being used, did you try to stop it?" Silence. "Miss Brooke, everything happened so fast. I was drinking. I wasn't thinking clearly, but you were thinking clearly enough to text your friends about how great the party was, even as property was being destroyed around you." More silence. Lauren pulled up the video again. "In this recording, you stated that you hoped the cabin got trashed to teach your sister a lesson. Can you explain what lesson you were trying to teach?" Brooke's lawyer objected, but the judge allowed the question. "I was drunk. I didn't mean it. But you did say it, and the damage you hoped would occur did occur. Is that a coincidence?" "I didn't tell anyone to break things. But you created an environment where you knew damage would likely occur. You invited dozens of people to property that wasn't yours without permission, and you expressed satisfaction when that damage happened. Is that accurate?" Brooke started crying. "I made a mistake. I'm sorry." The jury deliberated for 3 hours. When they returned, the verdict was clear. Brooke was liable for the full amount of damages, $10,300, plus my legal fees, which added another $6,000. Brooke's face went white when the verdict was read. Her lawyer immediately began talking about appeals and payment plans, but the damage was done. She'd lost completely and publicly. Outside the courtroom, Brooke approached me for the first time. Her eyes were red and swollen. "Are you happy now?" she asked. "You won. I'm completely destroyed. And you got your revenge." This was never about revenge. It was about accountability. Accountability? I'm $16,000 in debt with no job and no way to pay it. My life is ruined. And you did that. No, Brooke. You did that when you trashed my cabin and refused to take responsibility. I hope you can live with yourself, she said, then walked away. I watched her go, feeling not triumph, but a deep, exhausting sadness. This was my sister. Despite everything, I'd hoped somewhere deep down that she'd have a moment of genuine understanding. That she'd see how her actions had consequences beyond just herself, but she still saw herself as the victim. 3 months later, I received notice that Brooke had set up a payment plan through the court. She was working 2 jobs, retail during the day and waitressing at night to pay off the judgment. It would take her years. Trevor had moved back in with his parents. The wedding never happened. My mother eventually called to say she was disappointed in how things turned out, but stopped short of actually apologizing for taking Brooke's side. We spoke occasionally now, strained conversations that carefully avoided certain topics. The cabin was fully repaired.
I'd spent more weekends there in the past few months than in the previous 2 years. It had become my retreat again, my peaceful escape. Though I'd upgraded the security system considerably. I never regretted taking Brooke to court, but I grieved the sister I'd thought I had, or maybe the sister I'd wanted her to be. In the end, holding her accountable hadn't changed her. It had only shown me who she really was beneath the surface. And sometimes that knowledge is the most valuable thing you can gain from standing your ground, even when everyone tells you to let it go.